Halloween and Frozen or on the rocks? All the above?
All the above. Either.
Yes, it is National Margarita Day, y'all, and so we have some fun details about the day and a little bit of facts and little tidbits about everything going on with National Margarita Day.
Yeah, but one thing that we also need tidbits on is this weather.
Oh, man.
Because we were just getting used to the warm Texas weather, the typical, and then now, get your scarves out, get your coats out again, because it's back.
Yes, it's back. And I will say, Alicia and RJ, February, a pretty volatile month for us, right?
Yeah.
Because we get a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we get like
spring,
a taste.
some winter. Exactly. But this is a pretty intense temperature drop that we're talking about. So today, our forecast high is 88, near 90 degrees. But tonight, a strong cold front is going to move through, and by the afternoon tomorrow, our wind chills will be in the 20s. So it's going to feel some 70 degrees colder tomorrow at times than it does out there right now. So a very big temperature difference. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get down to it so that way you can be prepared. First thing to know, today's going to be a warm day. We're already seeing the clouds clear out from earlier this morning. It's 75 in San Antonio and already 80 degrees out toward Del Rio. With nothing but abundant sunshine this afternoon, temperatures are going to soar. So that by this afternoon, our high temperature should be near 88 degrees, near 90, and we'll have east-northeast winds at 5 to 10. But tonight, here's where things are going to change. Look at today's forecast highs: 90 Del Rio, 90 Eagle Pass, 90 Carrizo Springs, 95 Laredo. But that front is going to be knocking at our door and moving through, so that by tonight at 10 p.m. we'll already be in the 50s in San Antonio. And by early tomorrow morning, you wake up, you do the morning commute tomorrow morning, we're going to be in the low 40s in San Antonio and in the 30s in the Hill Country. By tomorrow afternoon, however, we'll be looking at temperatures in the 30s. So tomorrow, temperatures are going to fall throughout the day. The coldest part of the day will actually be in the evening rather than in the morning. And by late Wednesday night, temperatures will be below freezing in the Hill Country. And that's going to matter when we talk about precipitation. But here in San Antonio tomorrow, our wind chills are going to be in the low 30s early tomorrow morning. And then by Thursday morning in the 20s. So again, the biggest thing you'll notice tomorrow is the cold, and that temperatures are going to fall throughout the day. Another thing you'll notice is precipitation. Right now, it's looking like just a cold, damp rain in San Antonio on Wednesday during the day. We're not really worried about any kind of wintry precipitation on Wednesday in San Antonio during the day, but in the late afternoon and evening hours up in the Hill Country, we'll start to see some freezing drizzle develop. Now, we've got a couple of things working in our favor. The fact that it's going to be so warm today is going to keep the ground warm, but I do think up in the Hill Country, especially by Thursday morning, there could be some light accumulations on bridges and overpasses up in the Hill Country. But again, notice that we really keep things as a cold rain in San Antonio. And even if briefly areas in northern Bexar County see some freezing drizzle on Thursday, again, it's going to be so light that we won't really have any major impacts at all from some potential ice in the northern part of Bexar County. But again, look at that 7-day forecast. All right, we're going to stay cold through Saturday with a chance for rain through Saturday as well. So a big change in the seasons. Hey, continue to stay updated with us on KSAT.com and on the KSAT Weather Authority app. I just posted an article to KSAT.com about this in detail. It's a detailed timeline. Check that out. Check out the KSAT Weather Authority app. We'll send notifications right to your phone. Alicia, RJ.
Sarah, thank you so much. This is so important just to, if you're traveling, I mean, especially for the kids, if they're waiting on the bus stop, those few minutes can just feel brutal. And even at the rodeo.
Yeah.
I mean, walking from point to point, it can be really rough. And the most sad or frustrating thing is to see like the kids, you know, wanting to stay warm. So hopefully parents, guardians, stay prepared.
Yeah, just keep track of those outdoor plans. And as you mentioned, a lot of people trying to take advantage of the last week of the rodeo. So just kind of know what weather is expected out there if you head out.
All right, now to international news. President Vladimir Putin says this is all part of what he called an alleged peacekeeping mission it's been reported that military vehicles are moving into the eastern parts of Ukraine.
Yeah, so he's reporting that two separatist pro-Moscow regions after Putin recognized their independence. However, United Nations members don't recognize those regions as independent, and basically this move is fueling fears of further invasion and a war in Europe, as it's one of several countries immediately condemning, including the U.S. But meanwhile, on the ground, already reports of injuries and even fatalities. There's a lot to unpack here.
All right, so Russian troops in Ukraine have already impacted global markets, as we can imagine. Those markets tumbled in crude oil prices. Well, those are now peaking at $99 per barrel. And let's remember that Russia is one of the leading producers of oil and a major exporter of natural gas. And so this conflict between Russia and Ukraine could potentially reduce or even just stop the flow of Russian gas into Europe. So this is going to affect people when they try to warm up their homes, light up their homes.
Yeah.
It's a big issue.
Definitely a domino effect, and I know that a lot of people have been following this internationally. Basically, earlier when Vladimir Putin spoke, he was basically officials here saying that it was almost like if he was trying to justify a reason to maybe go to war. And so that's why U.S. officials have been kind of concerned about this. They say that, that right now all of this is basically just positioning Russia to basically further invade Ukraine, but a lot to unpack. Really.
Tensions have been growing, but some are calling it a surprise, others not so much. This is after, the president of Russia promising there were no plans to invade Ukraine, but we did see military presence along that border. But he's done the exact opposite. Now his troops, the Russian troops, moving in again to two sections of Ukraine in that eastern part of the country.
And you were mentioning just how this sort of basically affects us here at home. Obviously it does, but President Biden yesterday said that they plan to impose new sanctions on trade and financing in those territories in response to Putin's moves. So again, trade, sanctions, oil, everything that's taking place here.
Yeah, and President Joe Biden is expected to speak on what's happening in Russia in the next few hours. So you can stay tuned on KSAT.com, probably your best bet if you're listening to us, to have the latest on this conflict in Russia, and really not just there, spreading across the world.
Absolutely. Okay, well, back here at home in the States, a verdict has been reached in the Ahmaud Arbery hate crimes trial. So earlier this morning, a jury in Georgia found Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and William Roddy Bryan guilty of all counts. So they were charged with violating Arbery's civil rights.
So the defendants are already serving life sentences in prison after being convicted for murder in state court last year, and this is for that same case. During this trial, prosecutors showed the case was racially motivated, showing text messages and even social media posts in which Travis McMichael and Bryan used racist slurs and made derogatory comments about Black people.
So just kind of going back to when this all happened, the McMichaels followed Arbery after seeing him running in their neighborhood back in February of 2020, and Bryan recorded cell phone video of the shooting. And this was actually pretty interesting, Alicia. Tomorrow actually marks 2 years to the date that Ahmaud Arbery was killed there in Georgia. So I think earlier I was reading some stuff online, and his mom said that this is obviously going to be a horrible anniversary for them, but in this case, 2 years later, hopefully this verdict will be good news as opposed to 2 years ago when she learned of her son's death.
Well, exactly, because in many of the cases where we have seen the families feel, in many of the cases that we've covered about racial injustice or racially motivated crimes, most of the times the families comment that they don't feel as justice was served. And in this case, in both the murder as well as the racially motivated civil rights, both they've been convicted of, these three men. So providing some peace for the family.
Right.
But again, it doesn't bring their loved one back.
Of course not. And I did find it interesting that after kind of reading through this a little bit, that during the state trial, they really didn't bring up race as a big motivating factor here. So this was really kind of, as you said, sort of that confirmation that it was motivated because of that. And some of the evidence proved that there. So that just came down this morning.
Yeah. All right, so a major milestone for women in sports and an equal pay this morning here in the U.S., which is big, not only when we're talking at a national level, but I'm sure local teams, local female teams celebrating this win. So the U.S. women's national team, as well as U.S. soccer, they've reached an agreement in the gender discrimination lawsuit that was filed back in 2019.
So now all women's and men's U.S. national soccer teams will receive an equal rate of pay in all friendlies and tournaments, and that, of course, includes the World Cup. So the news came in a joint statement today that read, in part, quote, we proudly stand together in a shared commitment to advancing equality in soccer, end quote.
So U.S. Soccer has also agreed to pay $22 million to the players in this case, and they're also giving $2 million for post-career goals and charitable efforts when it relates to the U.S. women's national soccer team.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is a long time coming because these women have put U.S. soccer on the map. I mean, the accomplishments they've had, I think, is back-to-back World Cup championships, multiple Olympic medals, gold medals, and they are stars. And they basically helping this generation of younger women and even just young kids in general sort of reach these goals and think to themselves, well, we can be on that international stage as well. I'm a big fan of the men's U.S. soccer team as well, but I mean, these women have just been incredible. They've dominant.
Crushed it, exactly. Yeah. They've won. Like you said, put the women's soccer team on the map, and this is just huge to know that pay gap is being closed.
Yeah, and when you think of U.S. soccer, I mean, it's not just the men, obviously. I mean, it goes hand in hand. It really does. They've done great.
So again, usually with cases like this, it gives way to other similar experiences. So will that be with basketball next?
Yeah, maybe we've seen the WNBA. They've been fighting for more of not equal pay to the men, but at least a little bit better salary when it comes to their players as well. So even Spurs assistant Becky Hammond going over there, she's going to get a nice contract. And so,
And she had to go overseas first to meet her, obviously, career, but financial goals, and then making it.
And at the time, it was very common for a lot of WNBA players. It's gotten better when it comes to the salary for the WNBA. Obviously, nothing compared to the NBA salaries, but at least it is still something that where there's a normal standard of living there.
So hopefully those women can celebrate with a margarita or whatever they choose.
Nice. Very nice. Okay, so we mentioned this off the top. So, Alicia, rocks on the rocks are frozen. Do you care?
I think, oh man, on the rocks.
You had some time to think now.
On the rocks, because you can ask for less sugar.
Okay, here's another one. Salt or lime? Sugar or lime? Sugar or salt? Okay, both? Yeah. You're all about those too.
Lime and salt.
Okay, lime and salt. No sugar. You don't like the sugar on the rim? No. Okay, well, I don't know if it matters to a lot of people because today is National Margarita Day. It's celebrated every year on this date, but historically, margaritas have been around since the 1930s and 40s.
What about you? Salt or lime?
So not a big margarita guy, no. But I'm mostly on the rocks. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do just the traditional one, but mostly on the rocks.
Okay.
Salt, yeah, I don't like sugar either.
Not my thing, right? Or what about with chamoy? A chamoy.
It's pretty good. Tried that before.
Oh my gosh, my mouth is watering now. A Nashville realtor named Todd McCullough, I can't even talk because my mouth is literally watering. It is 11:14 a.m. All right, well, he claims he created the February holiday of National Margarita Day because to him, winter is such a sad, drab time of the year, so he wanted to bring some flavor, some joy.
Yeah, or a little celebration there. And by the way, it is 5 o'clock somewhere. You said it's 11:14.
Yeah, I'm going to Google it right now.
So yeah, frozen margaritas came onto the scene in the 1970s, and we have a little bit more notes here. So going back to what we were talking about earlier in the 1930s and 40s. So apparently, according to historians, a lot of research done here, the famed cocktail was made all the way back in 1938. This is just the regular margarita by the father of the drink, Carlos Danny Herrera.
So a lot of people assume that it's from Mexico, and those who celebrate Cinco de Mayo, that's a conversation for a different day. But you know, it's always thrown in there. But Danny Herrera, he made it in his restaurant in California and for a famous customer named Marjorie King because she was allergic to spirits, but not to tequila. And just like that, margaritas were born.
How is that possible to be allergic to other spirits, but I guess not tequila? I guess maybe some of the ingredients.
Well, yeah, because the other ingredients, they're not. I mean, tequila comes from an actual plant, the agave plant.
Yes, yeah, that makes
So
sense. Yeah.
to me, it makes sense.
Yeah,
Why?
instead of it being distilled into everything else. So
Because honestly, so when I've gotten sick, I've always thought it was a joke, but my mom is the first one to be like, just take a shot of tequila. And I'm like, Mom, like I can just take Dayquil.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
you know, she
Well, I
and
was
my
always
family
told it
swear
was
by
whiskey.
it.
I was always told to take like a hot toddy whiskey, but yeah, tequila probably do the trick for you as well. Very beneficial. So speaking of beneficial, here are 5 benefits of tequila. Okay, number 1, it lowers
Moderation.
with moderation. Yes, drink responsibly. Number 1, it lowers blood sugar, and then number 2, helps fight cholesterol.
It also helps as a natural pain
Oh, there
reliever.
you go.
It aids digestion. This is another one that my grandma swears by. And then last but not least, benefits of tequila. It can treat a cold. And I'm telling you, my mom back in January, she's like, you need to take, you should have taken a shot of tequila the moment you started feeling any symptoms.
Yeah, and according to our notes here, back in the 30s, doctors used the tequila to basically fight off colds like this. So pretty interesting stuff here. And as you said, always drink in moderation and drink responsibly for sure. But I feel like Alyssa was the one who found these benefits for us. Was she in your mind earlier? Because you just said right now that's what your mom used to tell you.
Who was
that-
in my mind?
Alyssa.
Why would Alyssa be on my mind?
Because she said right there, one of the benefits is can treat a cold. And that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
you said your mom told you.
What's I
it
mean,
the
I would gravitate to say it's a Mexican thing. My parents were born and raised in Mexico, and they didn't have medicine growing up, so they had to use some natural remedies.
Yes, definitely.
Tequila was one of them.
Yes.
For when they were
Absolutely.
sick, y'all.
Yeah.
RJ.
So it definitely is 5 o'clock somewhere. So if you guys are planning to partake in National Margarita Day, looking for some good deals, we've got you covered with a long list of bars and restaurants. Yes, definitely a long one that have some margarita specials today.
Some spots are offering frozen drinks as low as $2. We've got that list on our website, ksat.com.
All right, very good stuff
National Margarita
there.
Day.
National Margarita Day.
I wonder, so my drink of choice, not that anyone just asked me, but it's
Sure.
Michel. Thank you,
Sure.
Alyssa. Oh, my favorite drink of choice, a michelada.
Oh,
So
that's
it's a
good.
spicy beer.
Yeah.
Again, like
Yeah, that's
mouth-watering.
good stuff. Yeah.
National Michelada Day. That's what I
you're
need to
looking at now?
celebrate.
Yeah.
July 12th, National Michelada Day. I can't wait for July 12th.
Yeah. So, and yesterday when we were talking about this story during one of our other newscasts, I gotta give credit to our anchor Mark Austin because he's like, well, what? He's like, do you know what you call National Margarita Day in San Antonio? A Tuesday.
Oh, it's like Taco Tuesday,
Pretty much. Yeah.
like any other day.
There we go.
Remember that the San Antonio Rodeo is still going on. 3 Doors Down is today. So 7 p.m. is the rodeo, and then afterwards, usually around 9:30 or 10 is when the
around
show kicks
9:30.
off. Yeah. So it'll be
You
a
got a little
good time.
excited about 3 Doors Down.
Yeah, but I'm not
you're
even
gonna go-
going.
No, I'm not gonna go. Okay. I think we're gonna have a
it's
few
a
people.
school night. It's a work night.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think a few people from here said that they were going to hit up 3 Doors Down. So if you guys do see that concert and you want to chime back in with us tomorrow, go ahead and feel free. We're always accepting comments on Facebook. I see a couple people here saying, Elida Moreno saying, blessed happy Tuesday, 02/22/2022, which is also a palindrome day.
There you go. Everyone's talking about the palindrome dates.
Palindrome dates, yeah.
Cool.
The same dates.
Yeah.
for-
No, I know what it is, RJ. Pamela.
You're not impressed,
Pamela Hugh. She says that's what I call crazy. I think she was referring to the weather. So again, we're going to be here in San Antonio. It's going to be 88 degrees. Yesterday was pretty hot, but tomorrow, wind chill in the 20s. You guys, be prepared.
Big change coming up. We thank you guys for being with us on KSAT News Now, and we will be back with you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Wednesday morning.